real live NBA basketball this week with your boys here, Logan Dolby and Matt McClure, back in the studio for episode 8, season 2 of Halfcourt. McClure, how pumped are you for the season to be back?
NBA is back, man. It's hype. I'll tell you that. Some great action over the first 2 days of the NBA season, man. It's going to be a great NBA season. I'm just glad it's back. That's all I got to say, man. I'm pumped up and ready to roll.
So were the Toronto Raptors, who took home the dub against the New Orleans Pelicans, 130-122 on their home court. Ring ceremony went pretty well for them. A little bit of an awkward situation, though. Did Kawhi get the ring in the mail or what?
I guess he did. That's the only way I could see it. Does he? I mean, that's the only way I see that. Did Danny Green get his in the mail? I knew they were talking. They were probably talking about that post game of their game later on, which we'll get to. But that's the only way I see it. Unless he got it before he moved to the Clippers. That's the only way.
I mean, does he have to make the trip to Canada? Is the only thing.
I don't think so. Man.
No. All right. So game went to overtime. Great first game of the season. You got to love it. No Zion Williamson. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with the knee injury. For the first half of the game, though, it didn't really matter for the Pelicans. They came out firing on all cylinders. That team was looking really good, and we were thinking, wow, maybe, this could be a team that could push for a playoff spot. You've got, with these guys, you've just got it's star-studded here with the young talent. We've talked about it all off-season. Lonzo Ball coming in, Brandon Ingram coming in, Drew Holiday, a stalwart there for the past few years. J.J. Redick, who just came into town this off-season. All of them having pretty decent games here, McClure. Did anybody stick out to you?
I think the Pelicans team really stuck out to me. I think they played pretty well in this game, and it went overtime, and you saw the better team there in overtime in the Toronto Raptors, a team that has been there, done that, and you saw it by their star players there with Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. But for the New Orleans Pelicans, I really liked what I saw from Brandon Ingram and J.J. Redick for them, guys that really stepped up. You saw Brandon Ingram there with 22 points and J.J. Redick with 16, 4 or 6 from 3, 6 and 9 from the field. He's going to have to do that on a consistent basis, I think, for the New Orleans Pelicans. And with Zion Williamson being out for 6 to 8 weeks, you got to see a big improvement here from Lonzo Ball. He had 8 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, but I think he needs to be a little bit better than that. I think he will when Zion Williamson comes back. But I was really impressed with the New Orleans Pelicans team. I think they're going to be competing there at the bottom of the West for that 11 to 8 seed spot. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, but they really played well on the road in Toronto when they were getting their rings. I was very, very impressed by this Pelicans team, although they took the loss. You saw the better team late in overtime and in that fourth quarter, and that was the Toronto Raptors. You got to give credit to them, and their players stepped up.
Yeah, for me, what really stuck out here was Lonzo Ball's minutes. He only got 25 minutes in this game. Clearly not enough for your starting point guard. He was looking good, especially during some stretches. His shot was looking okay. It looks a little bit better than last year, but he was 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 2 major things that he had to get better at. Not extremely efficient. Didn't hit any of his jumpers just from inside the three-point line. Like you said, finished with 8 points, but 25 minutes is not enough. Whenever Hart gets 28, it's just that's not going to cut it. Alvin Gentry, I feel, really needs to figure out what's going on with this team because he had 11 players take the court last 2 days ago against the Raptors, and that's just not going to work. I know he's trying to get everybody to touch the ball, but whenever you see the minute discrepancy from Drew Holiday to Lonzo Ball, 41 to 25, that's just not going to get it done, especially whenever Lonzo's playing a little bit better. Drew Holiday was minus 14 in his net rating. Lonzo was only a minus 7, and I think a lot of that was he was coming off cold. Gentry took him out of the game late in the third quarter, didn't play any of the fourth, and then he tried to trot him out there during overtime. The dude was ice cold. He's jumping up and down on the court trying to get blood flowing. He hasn't shot a basketball for just about 20 minutes. So that needs to get situated there for the Pelicans if they're really going to try and contend. Not enough points in overtime there. A good push in the fourth quarter, just not enough for the Pelicans. And another thing, Derek Favors. Dude, they brought you in to play big minutes at the power forward, and especially whenever Zion Williamson is out, you have to be better than 6 points. He got 7 boards, but he was 3 for 6 from the field. Just not enough here from the Pelicans.
Yeah, I agree with that. But they battled in this game, and I got to give credit to those guys that you mentioned, the 11 off the 11 or the 6 off the bench. They played well. You saw Melly come up big there with 14 points. He shot 7 from 3, 4 or 5 from deep. That's somebody that was big time off the bench. You got a spark from him, and you got a big spark there from Hart. It was just, I think, a collective effort. But I agree with you with this team and Alvin Gentry. You got to find lineups that work. You got to find the right 5 that work together. And he was switching lineups. He kept on subbing guys in and out, and I think that won't work as the season continues. He's got to find his core group of guys, whether that's 9, 8, 10. They got to be there for the New Orleans Pelicans. But I'll tell you what, this Raptors team, they played great in this game late.
Yeah, especially 2 standouts for me were Pascal Siakam. This dude absolutely went off, 34 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists. You can clearly see why he got that max extension during the offseason, why they wanted to lock him down as the centerpiece of this team now. I mean, he's looking like Giannis Antetokounmpo, but with a three-point shot. It's kind of scary, actually, the way that this kid has developed. He has been looking absolutely fantastic so far this season, 1 game in, and he's looking, I don't want to say it too early, but if the season continues like this, MVP candidate, as well as Fred VanVleet, looking like he's playing in the playoffs right now with 34 points and 7 assists.
44 minutes from VanVleet, too, man. He shot the lights out of the ball. 12 of 18 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, 34 points. Fred VanVleet. Great game from him, and I'll tell you what, man, Pascal Siakam, this guy ain't a joke. This guy has been busting his tail to get ready for this season after being most improved player last year, and this guy, and when Kawhi left, he realized that it's his team now. It's his team. He's kind of the centerpiece of that team. You know Kyle Lowry's still there, that veteran guy, but I'll tell you what, Pascal Siakam in this game had maybe his best game as a Toronto Raptor during the regular season.
Absolutely fantastic. I was blown away.